Hello, everybody. Hope all you guys are having a great Friday Eve and a Thursday. I hope you guys are ready for the week. Isn't it crazy that tomorrow is the eve of the weekend? I mean, it's crazy to know that it's Friday tomorrow. I can't believe it, guys. Knowing that tomorrow is, to know that it is Friday tomorrow and then the weekend is like so astonishing to me and so crazy. So, hi guys, if you guys are new to this channel, my name is Ryan Knipe. I am your host. Throughout the month of April, we have been talking about Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month. I am someone that has autism. I was diagnosed at the age of 4. And yesterday I began sharing my story of living with autism. I talked about my early life and my elementary life with autism. And in this episode, I will be sharing my middle school / junior high life with autism. I'm going to try to not cry like I did in yesterday's video, but I want you guys to just sit back and enjoy. Okay, so my middle school or junior high life as a student was not pretty, okay? My very first year of middle school or junior high was the 2009-2010 school year. And the one thing I was walking into middle school so excited about was having a locker. I mean, I feel like everybody, when they walk into middle school or junior high, it's always to have a locker. But I quickly realized that, junior high or middle school, nothing compared to elementary school. But I will get to that in just a little bit, guys. It didn't take long before I felt like an outsider. It didn't take long before I realized it was going to be a steep uphill battle. And I just, I had to find a way to survive, okay? Now, before junior high, I've never had to fight for survival in my life. Like, when it comes to being a student, never had to do that. But I did in middle school, okay? I think some of the things that I was told, in junior high, middle school, I got told that I look like a jackass. I got told I'm the biggest idiot in the school. What's really funny about, that is I actually laughed at it like it was a joke. And the one thing I was beating these bullies to is that they said all that to me throughout the day, and I would laugh my ass off, ladies and gentlemen, and excuse my language. But I didn't use that as coping, but I literally did not think they were dead serious about it, okay? And I ended up walking into school one day. I can't remember what day it was, but I walked into school, and right on my locker said the 2 words, "You're next." And I didn't know what that meant, so I didn't think anything of it, because, just hearing those "you're next" and all that. And then, the very next week it happened again. And then the week after that it happened again. And then I got a note on my locker one morning that said, "You're done and you're done." So really what that meant at that time is I didn't know what was going on. So I went to the principal, and I wasn't filing a complaint or anything. I didn't know what was going on. So I brought the notes to him, And I just said, I don't know if someone's pulling a prank on me. I don't know what's going on, okay? But, here you go. Good luck. Leave me out of it. And I found out from an informant that I was getting bullied on Facebook. I was getting bullied on Twitter. And throughout the past 4 weeks, I had no idea about it. All right. But the great news about all that is it was dealt with immediately. But I did struggle. While other people were learning algebra and division, I wasn't learning that. To this day, I cannot do division. To this day, I cannot do algebra. It's just too much for my mind to comprehend. But I did do this. I was in the resource room, or ER, which is extended resource room, and I struggled, and I had a lot of teachers that did not like me. About 2 years into my junior high or middle school student life, my grades, they were not the best, but my mom and all that, and my teachers, they knew I was trying my best. They knew I wasn't lazy. I was literally doing the work. For some reason, I just couldn't comprehend it. And I started getting D's and F's and all that. And I told my mom, Mom, I swear I'm trying the absolute best. And she believed me. That caught me off guard. I really did not think she would believe me, but she ended up believing me. And a few weeks later, I was getting bullied again. And the one person that stood by me that was not a staff or family was Kyla. She really was the one. And I didn't talk a lot of this to her. I didn't want her to worry, all that usual friend stuff. And it was tough. It came to the point that my mom finally was very highly considering of pulling me out of school and doing private school. Basically my psychologist went against that. He didn't want me. He advised my mom, despite everything that's going on, I would highly advise against that. And so, that's where we ended up at. But my 7th grade year was brutal. My 8th grade year was brutal. And I remember being asked what I wanted to be when I grew up in 8th grade, And I said something that not one student said. Said, I don't know what I want to be, but I do know what I want. I don't want to be in middle school anymore. I want to go to high school. I don't want to be told this crap by you guys anymore. And this is to the teacher. I just told this. I'm like, this school needs to change because I'm being treated way different than everybody else. I'm being told by students that, I don't belong here. And I said this, I'm like, you're a teacher, right? Well, do your job. Because I'm not going to come to your class and waste my time. And I told this teacher, I'm like, and you're not going to waste my time. Because I'm busting my butt day in and day out just to get a C or better. That's what I'm trying to do. And all you're doing is standing in my way. And I said that to the teacher, and I got 5 weeks of detention. And the crazy thing about this is my psychologist and my mom were furious that I got 5 weeks. They did not think I should have been given detention at all. And I told my psychologist, and true story, ladies and gentlemen, I told my psychologist, I am going to serve those 5 weeks. And I'm going to enjoy every day of it. Because I'm trying to make a point here, and I'm doing it the only way I know how. My mom literally advised for me to be pulled out. And I said, I'm not going to let them win. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't follow, okay, I was getting bullied. I was being denied help that I asked for. And I finally had to be honest with myself, and I did 5 weeks of detention. And the one thing I did when I walked into those 5 weeks and I came out of those 5 weeks is I had to trust my gut. And finally, my psychologist sat me down. And he said to me, he's like, Ryan, you have 3 weeks of school left. And you're going to need to stay out of trouble for those 3 weeks. What's going on? And I said this, I'm like, I don't want to get pulled out of school. I have friends at school. I love going to school. I love it. And all that. And I'm asking for help, and I'm getting denied the help. So I can't control getting D's and F's when I'm busting my butt. All I can do is continue to bust my butt, not give up, and pray to God that somehow I get a C or better on the next test or whatever. But I did say this. I'm like, I will be very happy to escape junior high. But I'm not walking back into this school ever again. I look back at middle school, and to this day, I don't like it. I really don't. But the one thing one of the staff said to me is that I was the first student they ever had that spoke a lot of truth. I spoke my mind, and I believed in what I said, and I backed it up. And this teacher that I had, he told me, he's like, I don't know how you get it, but he's like, you're going to go far in life, Ryan, because you're not going to put up with shit. You're going to believe in what you say, and you're going to back it up. And he's like, you're in middle school or junior high, and you're willing to speak this amount of truth and not even think about the consequences, because you know what you're saying is the truth. Guys, I was a target in junior high, and I survived it. There were a lot of teachers that did not like what I had to say, and I was blunt honest. And there were teachers that didn't always like what I had to say, but they knew I was right. And that's really about it. If I could say I was in hell, yeah, I was in hell in junior high. No doubt about it. But there were a lot of people I have to thank that got me through it. Got to thank my mom. Of course, my great friend Kyla, she was there. And a lot of my teachers. They really pushed me, and I was blunt honest, And, if you guys don't know me, that's the one thing people like about me and hate about me. I'm blunt honest. Whether I am your friend, it doesn't matter how, friend, foe, I'm blunt honest. And all that. But every time I drive by my middle school, I get asked the question, will I step back in there? I will never step foot in my middle school again. Never. Never, never. And I get asked that daily. I've had a lot of people that I've known that believe the same thing. You know, they kind of went through a similar path I did, and yeah. So, all right, guys.